questions, but how has your life changed since winning Squid Games? Talk about it. Yeah.
You're just in time for story time. Inspiring people, inspiring stories from all around the world. Boys and girls, moms and dads, who knows what you'll find. We all have a story, and you're just in time for story time.
Just in time for story time for a very special episode. Welcome back to another episode of Just in Time for Story Time. I'm your host, Justin Stephen Ford, author of the diverse picture book, I See Me. And as you know, we are all about children's literacy, inspiring people, inspiring things and places. And today is no different. I have a very special guest, friend in my heart and in my head as we went through an amazing experience together. And so you guys are in for a very, very special treat. So sit back and relax because you are just in time for story time. Okay, with that being said, I'm going to cue up and intro our guest today, as you already know who it is because you clicked on the video. But I'm going to cue up and introduce our guest. So on December 6th, fans watched our guests, immigration adjudicator and U.S. Navy veteran, emerge victorious in the #1 show, Squid Games, The Challenge on Netflix, season finale, in a game of rock, paper, scissors, earning the largest lump sum of money in reality television history, beating out 455 people for $4.56 million. Now, I was one of the people that she beat out, but we'll talk about that in a minute. Vietnam refugee, humanitarian, philanthropist, animal lover, Mai says the person that came into the game is very much her, except she came out stronger. Please welcome to the show, my friend Mai.
Hi, thank you, Justin, for having me.
Absolutely. How are you?
I'm doing great. I'm traveling right now, so I'm glad that I can have some time for you, especially my friend.
I appreciate it. Well, people don't know, it's a very kind of surreal moment because the last time I saw you in person was actually in the game, right? Was
Right,
in
and we were crying on each other's shoulder.
Yeah, they didn't see that. The only thing they saw is us sitting on steps together. But we'll talk about that in a minute. But before we get into the games, it's been a little while since the show has aired and everyone saw you come out on top and victorious. My first question is, how are you?
I'm doing great. I still haven't grasped that I'm the winner of Squid Game the Challenge because it is, I think it's an amazing feat for me to win, to win the game out of 456 players. And so I'm still grasping the concept that am I the winner? I'm still questioning that every day.
Do you ever pinch yourself? Like, is this real?
I know I have to pinch myself, and I still live my day normally, and I haven't changed one bit. I would not allow money to change me, so I'm still that same person came into the game and same person that left the game.
Good. I think that's beautiful. We're going to talk about kind of how that's changed or has it changed you and how you feel or move through life in a second. But that's a good segue because who is Mai? You talked a little bit about your story, but if you had to describe yourself, who are you?
Who I am a humanitarian, a philanthropist. I am a environmentalist.
Yeah.
All of those things, and also I'm a animal lover. And I just become a vegan because I think it is very important to stand by what you believe in. And when I see, when I was younger, I was very, not naive, but in denial.
Sure.
So as they, and then as I get more self-educated and aware about our surrounding, our society, and I, through the news, reading more, I have, I have become more aware of how animals are treated,
Mm,
how our environments are diminishing for, for the future of our kids, which we talk about kids right now.
mhm.
And so I am so strong in my cause right now that I want to build a platform where I can help with everything that my cause is, underprivileged, the animals, the environment.
Yeah.
And so I'm working very hard to get my nonprofit going, so that way I'm able to, to the things that I'm very passionate about.
I love that. And I think that's a beautiful thing because a lot of people say, I want houses and cars, but you're like, I want to make the world a better place, which adhere just in time for story time. That's what it's all about. So I think that's beautiful. Thank you for sharing. Okay. Now, for those who don't know, what made you sign up for this crazy life changing experience? Like, how did that even come about or happen for you?
So at first, my husband, he said, you should, we watched the show together. After, a few minutes into the first episode, I said, nope, this is not for me. It's too gory. I don't like the violence. So he keep, encouraged me, you have to watch it, you'll like it. And so I watched it. I didn't like the violence part, but I do like the childhood game, because I'm a very competitive person when it comes to
Okay.
games, even childhood games.
Okay.
And so one time, my husband, I binge watched the show in 2 days. And after that, I just like hooked onto Squid Game, the show. I can't wait for season 2, by the way. And then my husband, he forwarded me the website to the challenge, and he said, you should apply. You're great for this. And so I applied. And at first, I hesitate. I had a very I didn't feel good about my application, and I
Mm,
thought, I thought they're gonna pick younger people, more, attractive people, because a lot of reality shows you have to be
sure.
attractive and young. And here I'm, 56, middle age, and I have nothing to offer. But 6 months later, I got selected, and I was so happy.
Yeah. And I think that was the beautiful thing about the show too, is it really wasn't about, first off, you're beautiful. So let's not, stop there. But it wasn't about age or beauty or abilities. I think it was really an even playing field, right? And it
Yes,
really put everybody on the same playing field. And I think that was a beautiful thing, all ages, all races, all ethnicities, which was a beautiful thing to see.
yes,
And
it
then
was.
I probably would have never met you had it not been for this experience. But
Right, right.
talking about us meeting. So really quick, I was player 154 in the game. I got eliminated very early. We don't have to talk about it. But one thing that really stood out for me was an interaction that we had and a conversation that we had. Do you remember that?
Yes, I do. And
Yeah.
I'm so glad that we met. I don't know how we met. Do you remember? Is it through Jada, or
What's
it
the
just
data? Yeah. So
Jada?
what's right. So what you guys see on the show is we're sitting on a step and like you see Jada is like, I think you told Jada we gotta persevere and keep going.
It's okay. Just like one day at a time. Don't worry about something, but it will come to you as long as you believe.
You have to have the faith of a mustard seed.
Yeah.
But right before that, we had like an hour conversation about our lives and kind of what we had been through. And I remember I told you that I had recently come out. And because of that, I had recently lost pretty much 90% of my family. And do you remember what you said to me? I'm putting you on the spot.
Yes, I did. I said, I can feel your hurt, because my family did the same thing to me when I was a single parent,
Mhm.
did not know anything about life. I truthfully have to say that. And so I was disowned also. So Justin and I were on the same boat of family disowning us for being us.
Right, right. And yeah, I will never forget. Oh, I'm not gonna get emotional, but you put your hand, it was either on my arm or shoulder, and you told me that, and you were like, it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. And you said that to me at a time when I literally needed to hear it the most. And so I think for me, I didn't win. I didn't go much further than Dalgona the cookie, but for me, that was like my winning moment. And I want to thank you. I needed to thank you for that and for just being there and showing up for me when I needed it the most.
Oh, it's my pleasure. The more I can bring joy to people's heart,
Yeah.
I'm happy.
Yeah.
I did my job.
Yeah. But you did it. You did it well. Okay. So thank you for that. So, okay. So in episode 7, you opened up about life as a Vietnam refugee, being born in Vietnam and left at 8 years old. And you talk about on the show how there was a moment when a gun was held to your head. You know, you kind of your life flashed before you there. Do you feel like that? Did you pull from that strength or pull from that moment at any time during this entire experience?
Yes, I have.
Mhm.
That at that moment, I mean, I was very young, but
Yeah.
I knew that what a gun can do because just from seeing, on the street, because this war, on our home territory,
Right.
so I know what gun can do. But I was, I don't know. I guess I learned at a young age where I just build a callous skin because
Mhm.
I was going through a lot with my family as a young child. So, um, but yeah, that strength has helped me just to plow through life, and that don't complain, just do it
Mhm.
and do the best that you can be. And because if you feel sorry for yourself, then you just dig yourself a hole. So
Mhm.
that's one thing I would not do, is dig a
Mhm.
hole for myself, and that
Mhm.
I always climb instead
Yeah.
of dig a hole.
Yeah. I agree. Now, was that part of your gameplay during the game? Was really kind of sit back and observe, because we know you were an adjudicator, and one of the highlights for me in the show was the dice, not the dice game, the Circle of Trust, when you were able to scope out who it was. So I imagine your life experiences, all of this stuff leading up to this game, helped you.
So my strategy was, you know, coming to the dormitory, you have almost 200 players.
Right.
So it is a lot of people to
Right.
know in one sitting. So I observe who are friendly,
Sure.
who are grounded, who are out there just to play games, arrogance, and
Mhm.
who just like takes a long time to open up, because you have introverts and you have extroverts.
Sure.
So I work slowly. I form a bond, but it's not like a group. I find a bond because that way, you feel connection to certain type of people.
Absolutely.
So to be able to fall back and to talk about, just to give a sounding board if
Mhm.
I did something wrong, or if they do something wrong. So you always have to have a sounding board, giving advice and receiving advice.
Right. Yep.
And so, and
Yeah.
as people get eliminated, that's when I started to be an extrovert, to volunteer for the orange juice, and
Mhm.
just to talk to people more, because those are
Mhm.
the people that's going to determine your destiny. Not
Sure.
Those are determine your outcome of the
Yeah.
game.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And that's very true, because I remember when I was preparing for the game, you don't want to stand out too soon, but you can't stand out too enough, but you do have to show up, because I know
right,
that people got eliminated just for not. I think someone was like, "I never met you, so you're
yeah,
eliminated." You
exactly.
know, so it's a very fine line. And I remember you definitely kind of like played it cool at the beginning, and I think after I was gone, you definitely made your relationships and connections, that because you couldn't. It wasn't a solo game, right?
Yeah,
You
right,
couldn't
right.
do it alone. But
When I came back to the dorm, just looking at how many people come back from the cookie game, I was like, okay, where's Justin? Because there's certain people that I want to come back,
yeah,
and I was like, okay, where's Justin?
that cookie said crack.
Oh,
Oh my goodness. But speaking of relationships, right? So as we saw, you had a lot of relationships and connections in the game. A lot great, and then some where you kind of had to mend relationships, of course. So I have a list here of names, and I just want to bring up these names, and you tell me kind of where you are with these people now. Are you still in touch, and kind of how that was for you during the game? Okay.
okay,
The first player is player 286, Chad.
Chad.
Player 286, you have rolled a 6 and have been eliminated. Okay. Let's see how.
Chad, we have bonded through the lineups from beginning of day one because his number is 286, mine was 287. So when they do lineups, we got to know each other. And 288, Andre,
Mhm.
those three together, and
Yeah.
Cookie was 285. Those
Yeah.
four or those three guys, it just make it possible for me to absorb the stress and make
Yes.
it, more uh livable, or
Doable.
because
Yeah.
they're funny, they
Yeah.
they they kept me, not worry or
Mhm.
stress, because they took a minute away of my stress and try to, I was laughing with them, so
Sure.
I
Sure.
thought that helpful. And
Sure.
Chad, he's amazing though. He and I, we had each other back
Yeah.
from the get-go.
Mhm.
And but I just came from uh I went to his 40th birthday in
Yeah.
Florida
I
2 weeks
saw.
ago. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was very fun. It's fun.
That was,
But
and
yeah.
it's so beautiful how we're all still connected in some way, and how
Yes.
this
Yep.
experience has made friends for life. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Which is beautiful.
Exactly.
Chad's hilarious, by the way. We love Chad over here.
Yes.
Okay, Chad. So the next player is player 097, Jada.
Of all things that life throw at you, I've been down to the bottom of the pit. My family does not trust me in my decision by, being in the military or being single parent at 19. And
You can let it out.
and it's hard. It was hard.
It is hard. It's hard.
It was hard
It's
because I have nobody. Yeah. So
Yeah.
always never give up.
Yeah.
Never give up.
And I absolutely won't.
Yeah.
Jada, yes. Jada, she is an amazing girl. At one point where she's telling me about her family with, her mom and the health issue of her brother, um, I told her that, you know what, I'm just gonna give you the game in the marbles game, because I have lived my life, and here she's in her 20s and trying to make it some sense of our life and
Mhm.
get her brother cured or get taken care of, and
Mhm.
or her mom. And so, but she said, no, don't give me the game, I want you to play. Um so I play, because she don't want, I guess, charity.
Yeah.
But that's why I cry so hard, when I didn't realize I beat her in the marble game.
Oh, so you didn't know, because we see that scene in Marbles, which that pulled at my heart, because you could tell you guys really had care for each other. And I think Jada said, you took all my marbles," or something like that.
Yeah,
And
because I didn't know. I said, because I said, it's your turn. And then when she said, I don't have any marble, and I just lost it. I said,
oh, yeah, yeah. I'm gonna let you know right now, Mai, had we played out and you said that to me, I'd have been like, thank you for throwing the game. Well, shout out to Jada for that, because that is the honorable thing for sure. But that was
yes, yes,
and I love that you guys played a fair game, because if you're gonna win, you want to win knowing that I played the game, right? I think that's the beauty of it. But you all had a beautiful relationship, and it was very cool to see
yes.
that kind of
I mean, she's like my daughter.
yeah. And she's like my sister. So it's
Yeah.
like, shout out to Jada, guys. Okay. Player 278, Ashley.
Ashley. So I had no problem with Ashley. I think she's a cool girl, but when I came from a Navy background where when we discuss, or if we're in a game, or if we're in a situation where teamwork is really like important, that to save life,
Sure.
then I'm all about it. And
Sure.
same thing for the bridge, right?
Mhm.
It's about team effort to get person going one after another to go
Sure.
across the bridge.
Sure.
And when in my mind, I have no doubt that I know she's afraid. Everybody would be afraid. If the
Sure.
person, I would be afraid if I was the
Absolutely.
person who's going to stand there making a decision left or right.
Mhm.
I would be afraid too.
Sure.
But if you're going to lose for the team,
Yeah.
like, and then for Trey to take 3 steps for her, and he keep looking back,
Yeah.
and everybody's like, come on, it's your turn, it's your turn. And she just standing there, like she didn't expect for yeah, she was like, oh, it's, she was just going, through her well, I can't remember.
The
Anyhow,
turn. Yeah.
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 She
So
pretended that it wasn't her turn. Okay, so that left a a mark in my head. It's like, would
Right.
if there's another team game, will I rely on her to save my life?
Sure. And you're like, no. Basically. And the question for you, because that room is huge that the bridge was played in. And I imagine you were towards the back where
Yeah,
you
but I
just
can see.
but you
Yeah.
couldn't hear. Could you hear the conversations?
No, I cannot hear the conversation, but I can see just the facial that, she does not want to move.
Gotcha. So, and it could very interesting to know, because I think some people who are hearing things are saying one thing, you're seeing things from a different perspective. And so it's just very interesting because we see you guys kind of come together later and kind of make up in the game.
Yeah, I mean, I love Ashley as a person. She's an amazing person. But when it comes to a game, you have to put aside your personal feelings and you have to put on your game face, and that's how you need to, move forward with your call on a certain person when it's time for elimination.
I agree. And I think that's what kind of helped propel you, was the fact that you were able to separate your feelings from, okay, but there's a mission at hand.
Yeah, there's no hard feelings.
Yeah.
I don't have any hard feelings towards anybody. I'm just saying how I felt, and that's it.
There we go. All right. Player 451, Phil.
Phil. He is I have nothing bad to say on any players. Phil, I am so glad that he was my opponent. He is such a beautiful person.
Yeah.
And, he taught me a lot about non-binary because I have no clue. And we have so many, different all walks of life. And when I learned about Phil, I was more educated in about non-binary instead of being closed-minded about all of this, sexual
orientations or
classification, right? And so, but Phil, he's just beautiful inside and out. And when I faced him in the final game, and and I said, gosh, Phil, you look like Jesus. Are you like gonna be watching over me? But yeah, I love Phil.
Yeah, amazing person. And guys, check out our interviews. We interview all of these people and they say the same thing about you, which is great to hear. But Phil was cool guy. And lastly, player 182, TJ.
TJ got my back, and I hate to say it, but the clip got it all wrong.
Okay.
So when Chad and I was talking, okay, we were talking about not about TJ, but it's the people that he hang out with, like Shanae, no,
Cheney.
Cheney.
Yeah.
Cheney and
Darius and
Yes. So, all this time, TJ would say, yes, I'll have your back. But the people that he hang out with, I don't trust them.
Gotcha.
So, and then one time we sat across from Cheney, Darius, and TJ. Chad and I was sitting across the room, and they start looking over our way. I don't know what they say, but in a moment, anything in that dormitory is paranoia, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And yes, I don't know what they say. It's like, okay, I thought that, TJ and I were cool, but the people we hang out with, I was not cool with.
Now you're guilty by association. Like
Right. Yeah. And so I will always have his back because I love TJ as a person.
Yeah.
But when it comes to games, I like, is he have a good not good judgment, but can he see a character about a person? Can he, so I I will always have TJ's back, but I never had the opportunity to get to have his back because he had his back twice.
Yeah. Yeah.
But just to let you know, if I get selected or get invited to the People Choice Award,
Yes.
the person that I'm bringing to the People Choice Award is TJ.
Wow. And then Justin. Got it. Got it. All right. Thank you for that. Are you ready to have a little fun with me? All right?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So on my show, I do something that's called a rapid random question time. But this is going to be Squid Games edition. So you kind of got to keep it moving with me. All right.
Okay.
So the first part of this, I'm going to ask you a series of questions and you just kind of got to blurt out what comes to mind first. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Which was the most physically challenging game for you?
Red light, green light.
Most emotional game for you?
That would be Circle of Trust.
Wait, why was Circle of Trust the most emotional game? I thought you were going to say marbles.
No, well, the emotional game was because I had to sit through 6 seating of, do I know if somebody's going to put a coffin on my desk or am I going to select again to put a coffin?
Yeah.
It's the guessing game. It was very, very emotional for me.
I can see that. And stressful because what people don't see is film. That clip might have happened in 10 minutes, but I'm sure you were in that room for hours.
Yes. And I had to. It's like, oh my gosh, I just got one over another one and another one. It's like, you don't know who's going to put a
Now, how did you know? How did you guess who put that coffin on your desk?
Well, for one, he gave it away because he keeps staring at me for one. It's like, why do you keep staring at me?
What you looking at?
I know. Are you feeling guilty?
Right.
But then again, it might be a move that I don't know. Maybe, he's just staring and just to
throw you off.
Yeah, throw me off. So
good job on that. Okay, back to the game. Which game would you play again?
I would play Warship again.
Okay, all right. Which game would you have played differently?
That would be
I know.
The Bridge.
Okay, now how would you have played that one differently?
Because you're not guaranteed to be at the end because it's the people that in the middle determine your destiny, because if they don't move, the clock is ticking. Right. True. So true. I would do differently. I'd rather do middle and take a risk of moving than it is at the end not moving, and also I'm still at risk.
Because you're just watching it.
Yeah, remember, I always want to say is I want to be in control of my destiny all the time.
There we go. We love that. Okay. What was your favorite game?
I don't have a favorite game.
My favorite. Do you have a least favorite game?
The least favorite game was marbles.
Okay, I understand that. All right. Now for the next piece, because we're not going to talk about each game, but one word or phrase to describe these games, okay? Red light, green light.
Cold.
Dalgona.
I was salivating.
It was the sweetest thing we had up until that point because the food was terrible. Okay, warships.
Very stressful.
Okay. Marbles.
Emotional with having to eliminate Jada.
Yeah. Glass bridge.
It was amazing experience just to watch, how high we were at.
Yeah, I heard that set was like just huge. Was that your favorite set?
My favorite set is The Bridge.
Okay, very cool. One word to describe the all-female alliance?
Bad move.
She said, don't agree with it. All right, dice.
That was very indecisive.
Okay. Circle of trust.
Deadly.
Literally. The 3-button game. I don't know what they call it, but the 3 buttons where you guys had to pick a button.
Yes. That one is whew, bewildered.
Yeah. Now, really quick, and then rock, paper, scissors.
Blast. Having a blast.
I thought it was so cool that they ended on rock, paper, scissors because it was like all of this building and tension, and it was like, have fun.
You know what? I'm so glad that they picked rock paper scissors because it's like a breath of fresh air
Yeah.
for stress, relief. Because there's no stress, right?
Yeah.
Either you just play rock paper scissors.
Yeah.
There's no more elimination.
Yeah.
You play your skill or you play
Yeah.
your chance. That's
Yeah.
it. And a lot of people will think that the last game was not hard enough, but I think it was a great segue to ending the game with calmness.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think I feel that way because I was in there with you guys. I was like, that's a beautiful ending. Like, that's a beautiful ending. I did want to ask you about the 3 buttons. You volunteered to go first, to push the button first. How did you make that decision? Because again, I think I would have been like, you guys duke it out.
So at first I wanted to go with the circle because everything on the game show, I try to relate to the heavenly bodies. So the circle, right, is infinity.
Okay.
It's our world is about infinity, and God made it to be, everybody has we all connected.
Interconnected. Gotcha.
Yes, yes. So I was gonna do the circle because I know that's gonna be green, but I said I don't know. So I do the triangle because it's pointing up to the heavens. So I picked the triangle.
Okay. Now, why did you volunteer to go first?
Oh, because like I said, I want to be in control of my destiny, and also you have 3 chances instead of 2.
There you go. That makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So a couple more questions, but how has your life changed since winning Squid Games?
It hasn't changed much other than I'm retired from my day job.
Okay.
But now, I am concentrate on my, my mission of forming a nonprofit and get that up and running. But I need a platform to build reputation. And so I'm working on it.
Okay. Speaking of reputation, you are doing some amazing work with the organization called Unbound. And Unbound partners with families living in poverty on their path to become self-sufficient, and fulfill their inherent potential. How did you kind of get involved with that? Because I saw you do some amazing posts in Guatemala, I think it was. How did you get involved in that, and what does that work kind of mean to you?
So I always wanted to help people, and especially kids. When I was 16, I watched, Food for the Poor, where an Ethiopian child had no food to eat. His belly was big. There's flies in his bowls. And so it left a mark on me, say, because I came from a very, very poor family. And for him to go through that without medical care, no food, and his health was, was in bad shape. So I can reflect that I can compare that to my life, but not as bad as him, but at least I was poor. I knew what hunger is, So my first job when I was 16 years old, I helped the child. I helped the people, Food for the Poor. I want to make sure that, my money do some good. So my heart was always in helping people. And when I have the opportunity in my life where I'm financially stable, I was able to, seek out organization that help kids. So to give them education in a poor country, because when you in a third world country, you don't have any money, kids will work to help with family. And so the difference between America and the third world is that America has government funded for low income family, but for the third world they have nothing. So that's why my cause to the third world is to help them in education, so that the way they don't have to work, pull out of school so they can work and help with the family. by me giving them money to Unbound to keep them in school, to be
Mhm.
self-sufficient so they can have a career, and then they can help themselves make a
Mhm.
difference in their life and even their family.
Mhm.
And by helping kids is also giving them an influence of what life can be. There are goodness out there, and there. And for us, it starts with kids. If they have good influence, the kids will turn out to be good.
Yes.
So
I couldn't have said it better myself, and that's why I write children's books, and that's why we're very much on the same mission
right.
of starting with children. And you had a beautiful post on your Instagram, I think, in Guatemala. You hadn't seen, I think, the kid you sponsored in years. Was it 5 years,
Yes.
10 years?
No, 9 years.
Almost. Wow. How
Yeah.
was that reunion after seeing him almost a decade later? What was that like?
Oh wow. It's like they've grown to be young men. They're 17,
Yeah.
and he's 17 and he's 14.
Okay.
Okay, anyway,
They were
yeah,
little
they grow
boys.
to be young men, and I was like, wow,
Yeah.
and it's just an amazing. I said, I want to encourage them and give them, cheer them on. So you're doing well in school, which they're doing, and
Yeah.
so it's like stay focused, stay in school, and you're gonna do great in life, and I will help you along the way,
Mhm.
and yeah, just don't lose hope. Don't lose the hope. Don't give up on anything. Just go forth
That's
with your
awesome.
life.
Did they see you on Squid Games?
No, because they don't have TV.
Okay, that's what I was wondering. Okay, all
But
right.
I did pull up the Squid Game, and
Okay.
it's over their head because they
Yeah,
don't know, and
yeah.
and my husband said, she's on the game, and they're just like,
Okay.
okay. It's like they don't know what to do with it, but that's
Yeah,
okay,
hang out with us instead. Yeah.
right? It's okay. I was there to check on their uh R&R, make
That's
sure that they're
beautiful.
good.
That's beautiful. I'm sure, and it's also an amazing feeling for you. Like that's what I like to call it feel good work. Like it just makes you
Yeah.
feel good. Yeah.
Well,
Okay.
but I did end up playing the rock paper scissors with them, and they had a good time.
Okay. Listen. Okay. I'm okay. Okay. Keep that in mind for in 2 seconds. But now the last question for you is: you are such a resilient person in my eyes, and like I told you earlier, I'm just so glad for the representation that you bring, but also for the resilience of everything you've overcome in your life. Like I said, that means so much to me. What would be one piece? Anybody watching this video? What would be one piece of advice? And I know this is a very broad question, but one piece of advice you would give to people to motivate them, to keep them going, or maybe to pull them out of a place, or for
Wait,
children to inspire them. Yeah.
yep. When you're down, do not feel sorry for yourself. You have to look at a better picture. You always have to have your glass half full, never half empty, because there is hope out there. There
Mhm.
is resources out there, and there is love out there. If not
Mm.
love within your family, there's love. Believe it or not, you can find love among other people.
Yes.
And so be never give up on the things that you love.
Yeah.
Always go with your 100%, no matter how hard life throw at you. Just move forward, and don't feel sorry for yourself, because there are options out there that you can be better.
Yeah. You just got all warm inside. And then we are living, especially we're living testaments of that by far, by far.
Thank you.
Will you do me a favor and will you
Yes.
play like one round of rock paper? Just one round of rock paper scissors.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Ready.
Ready? I'm ready. Ready
All
on
right.
three.
Ready.
Wait. Uh-huh.
Okay.
Uh,
One. Okay. Wait a second. Okay.
yeah.
Wait. 1, 2, 3.
I
What is that?
don't know. Wait, let's run that back.
Wait. Do it
There's a
again.
delay.
Ready? Okay. Ready?
Okay, ready, I'm ready.
1, 2, 3.
It's mine.
Oh wait, do it again. Do it again.
Okay.
1, 2, 3. Go.
Wait. Good job. Good job.
Good job.
let people know where they can find you and what do you have coming up. Thank you so much for that. That made my day.
Where you can find me is on Instagram. I would try to be my best for all the supporters out there. Whatever you want me to post, I will post whatever you want. Not whatever you want, but I'm always, right now I am traveling to build my brand, build a platform, so that way I can have my nonprofit. And right now, and also I'm writing my book, hopefully the end of this year, so look out for that. And I hope that you support my book so that my books support my profit organization.
And then in turn, inspiring the world and changing the world and making it a better place.
Right, exactly. And also support Justin's book.
She's a real, I didn't pay her to say that, by the way.
No, that's from the heart. Support Justin's book.
My friend, Mama Mai, all of the names. Thank you so much for coming on Just in Time for Storytime. And thank you for being, if I haven't said it, let me say it again, being the inspiring person that you are and for just making such a positive impact in the world. And no matter, like I said, I played the game with you. I've been there with you, and you are truly the real deal. And for that,
well, it was my pleasure to be on your show. I would not doubt, or I would never hesitated if you want, for me to go on the show again. I would never.
You gotta come back. You've gotta come back. When your book comes out, you're coming back.
Yes, I am. Yes, I would.
Deal. You guys, thank you everybody for tuning in. Like, click, subscribe. Find Mai. Her Instagram is right there. Anything else you want to say?
I am Mai, and I'm just in time for Justin story time.
You're just in time for story time. We got it. Got it. See y'all later.
Bye.
Yeah.
You're just in time for story time. Inspiring people, inspiring stories from all around the world. Boys and girls, moms and dads, who knows what you'll find. We all have stories, and you're just in time for story time.
Just in time for story time for a very special episode.